For those that use the routine area yeah, in the routines area here, um, we've always talked about how routines, kind of the workflow secret of this, is we're breaking what used to be big workflows down into smaller routines. And while that is true, every routine technically is still part of a bigger workflow. It's how do you break a workflow down into smaller groups. Sometimes you want to be able to see what all is in that workflow. So some time ago, we added the ability to go in and say view, and instead of going from a routine view to being able to see it as a workflow view. So then you can kind of name your workflows. You can give it a name like 10-year contract nurture, or contract to close. So here's my contract to close routines that are are basically in my contract to close. So I've got a review contract, I've got schedule home inspection, arrange appraisal stuff. These are all different things that happen that are all part of a an overall routine workflow, and it just gives you a way to see those. One thing that we've had, let me just see if I've got. I should have gotten a different account, but we'll just go with this. So, one thing that you can do is if I want to look at just the routines that are part of my contract to close workflow, I can click on that, and it basically segregates them so that it's just those routines that are part of that group. One of the things that people have asked was like, well, there are certain things that need to happen at certain times, and I need to put them in that order. Well, now you can actually drag and drop them so that you can put them in, whatever order you want to see them in your overall workflow. Um, so just making sure that you know that that's available so you can see them better. Once you turn that off, then the little drag handles go away and it'll stay in whatever order you've specified. Now the question is how do you get them into a workflow? Well, I'm going to go in here to the bottom here. Whenever you're in workflow view, so right now we're viewing these as workflows, meaning whatever routines are part of a workflow, they'll be under that particular workflow's tag grouping. For those routines that aren't currently assigned to a workflow, they'll be in this unassigned area. Now, what this allows us to do is whenever we go in here, so photography plan, here's some things that I might want to do whenever the photography date is filled in. Well, that's typically going to be part of my new listing workflow. What you can do is from either the three little dots here, there's three little dots. You can click on those three little dots and say assign to workflow, or there's just a quick pick icon up here to assign to workflow. Either one of them, it does the exact same thing, but what you can do then is select that, and you can see the workflow groups, the bigger groups of things, and you can say, well, that's part of my new listing marketing workflow. This particular activity or this particular routine is part of my new listing and marketing workflow group. So I'm going to check that one. You have the ability to add new workflow groups up here. So the green tags, which are these contract to close, new listing, new lead nurture. You can create as many different workflow groups as you want, and then pull all of your routines into those workflows. This just gives you a way to categorize them and organize them in an easier way. The best thing about routines is if you know you need to change how you do photography, you just go to your one routine for photography and you change it. and then no matter which workflow uses it, it will be updated. In other systems, you might have the same process done in multiple workflows, and you had to change all of them whenever you needed to do that. And that becomes a maintenance nightmare. You know, how many times do I, if I've got different processes for doing photography, or excuse me, different process for doing listings, and each one of them have a photography element, and I do the photography element the same in all three of them. Why should I have three separate ones? Let's just have it one time. And that makes it so much easier. Well, I can say, well, that photography piece is done both in my new listings and it wouldn't make sense, but you know, and also my kitchen remodel workflow, you know, whatever might if that routine is used in multiple types of things that you do, you can choose the other workflows that they're in at the same time. So I want to take that out. It wouldn't make sense there. But what that does is that moves that up into that area for new listing and marketing. And now I've got it in there. In this case, I actually already had a photography item in there. So this one may just be, this is something else. I was just showing people how to do it. But these are set for automatic. So as soon as the photography date is filled in, this one automatically kicks in and it automatically does all the things that it wants to be done.